How can you be an R&B singer and be a blood at the same time? How can you be an R&B singer singing love songs and you want to pretend that you were about that life, that you were in the streets, that you were spinning the block? Welcome to Zach Taylor News. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button. Chris Brown is back, or shall we call him Briss Brown? He is back and he's back on his BS. Now, if you didn't know, Chris Brown just released a new album called Breezy, and the album has not done so well. So right here on the screen, this is from Hollywood Unlocked. It says that Chris Brown says when he's in trouble, the world is on it, but when he drops an album, it's crickets. I'm back on my gangster-ish. And guys, if you did not know, there are some recent allegations that were made on Chris Brown, but it was proven that it was false. And he's always been in the headlines in the mainstream news about getting in trouble, getting caught up in different situations. And unfortunately, his music has not been doing the best lately. Chris Brown is pissed off. His album has not been doing as well as the Chris Brown fans would expect. So right here, this is what he posted on his Instagram, July 8th. Breezy Deluxe album. Not that it matters. Seems like y'all only invest in the negative stories about me. Chris gets in trouble. The whole world is on it. Chris drops an album. Crickets. And he also said, I'm back on my gangster-ish. It's bracking at all times. If you did not know, Chris Brown likes to rep the Pirus, the Bloods. So he is saying that he's back on his gangster stuff. And guys, this is his actual official Instagram account. If you click on his stories, as you can see, 4 hours ago, he posted that. So it is real. Chris Brown is back to being a gangster. And right here, this is the first week sales projections for Chris Brown's Breezy are in. So it basically says that it projects Breezy will open with 60,000 to 70,000 first week units. Chris Brown's 10th studio LP is presently expected to miss the #1 spot on next week's Billboard 200. Now keep in mind, Chris Brown is not a little boy anymore. He is a father of 3 wonderful children, right? And he's 33 years old, but he wants to be a gangster because his album sales have not been doing well. Guys, we've lost Pop Smoke, we've lost Young Dolph, we've lost Nipsey Hussle, we've lost King Von, we've lost so many rappers to senseless violence. And you would expect a guy like Chris Brown, who is 33 years old, a father of 3 wonderful kids, would want to be around for his kids, would want to stay off the streets. He's already a millionaire. He's one of the greatest R&B singers we've ever had. Yes, recently he hasn't been doing so well, but he's not the only one. Usher is one of the greatest R&B singers of all time, and as he got older, his sales haven't been the same. It's just part of the game. But this guy wants to be back on the streets. He wants to be back on his gangster stuff. He wants to get into more trouble, get into more mainstream headlines. But part of the reason why Chris Brown has not been doing so well is because how can you be an R&B singer and be a blood at the same time? How can you be an R&B singer singing love songs and you want to pretend that you were about that life, that you were in the streets, that you were spinning the block? People don't believe it. Remember this Chris Brown? This is the Chris Brown that we all grew up to love. People fell in love with him. He had that child innocence that everybody loved. He had the dance moves. He reminded us of Usher. He reminded us of Michael Jackson. The man is very talented. He still is talented. His resume is very impressive. He's had a lot of monster hits. People love Chris Brown. He still has a strong fan base. But you're 33 years old. At some point, you have to learn that you have to grow up. What is this fascination that people have with the streets? The streets are not real. We see what happened with Young Thug, the whole YSL crew. We see what happened to YF and Lucy. The only thing that you will gain from the streets, or either you end up dead, you end up in jail. Those are the only two options, dead or in jail. And we saw what happened with the YSL case. The feds have been watching Young Thug for years. So you definitely know they've been monitoring Chris Brown. And posts like this talking about that I'm back on my gangster ish is bracking at all times. Bracking, not cracking, bracking, claiming the Bloods. Alright. If you didn't know, the Bloods do not like to use the word C because that reps the Crips. This man is just bringing unwanted, unnecessary attention to himself. You're a father of 3 kids. This man needs to chill out before he ends up dead or in jail, having to do dance moves for Bubba, having to do dance moves for his cellmates, having to sing karaoke for his fellow prison inmates. Chris Brown, we saw you grow up. We saw you go from this young man that everybody, the entire America fell in love with. We know you're not a real gangster. We know you did not grow up in the streets. What's the whole point of that? You're a father of 3 kids. At some point, you have to learn to grow up. People who actually grew up in the streets, they are struggling to find ways out. They all want to get out. That's why sometimes they do dumb stuff just to try to find a way out. But this man is a millionaire, a childhood star. Instead of trying to progress, instead of trying to grow up and be there for his kids, he wants to be back in the streets. He wants to pretend that he's about that life when we know that's not the truth. So let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I am out.